Okay, fifth years, here we go. I promised you that I would try to do the work alongside you so that I don't have any false impressions of how difficult, and also that I give you a real practical understanding of what it's like. So this is going to be the homework for tonight, questions 3 and questions 5, page 45. Forgive the background noise, I'm printing out the second sheet. Throw a bit of nonsense out of my way and we're ready to go. So I'm using your calculator. Not the old rubbishy one, but it's okay. Okay, so here we go. First I need to get A as 4. Let's get that done. 4, shift, store to A. Okay, that's what you want to be saying to yourself all the time. Shift, store to A. Done. -2. And there we go, I have a problem, so I'm going to hit clear. And I don't even want to figure out when we are allowed not to hit clear and when you can hit clear. So maybe it's a good idea just to start hitting clear, a C button every time between putting in parameters. -2, shift store into B. Okay, and we'll hit clear, it's in. 6, shift store as C. Done. Okay. Recall them one at a time, and I will admit on your calculator it's quicker to recall one at a time. Recall just to check yes, -2, and recall, because all you do is hit RCL and have a quick look what's C, and it's 6. So we've all the numbers in right. So now we're going to calculate ABC. So I'm going to go, remember I said a joke, and please don't do it, but you could pretend if your thumb was super glued onto the alpha, it wouldn't do any harm. As such, regarding doing your homework, of course you have a problem afterwards because you have to walk around with a calculator stuck to your thumb. But you get your homework done pretty quickly because you're going to be pushing alpha an awful lot when you're doing these. So basically I'm going to go alpha A, alpha B, alpha C. Each time there I pressed with my thumb. Okay, and I hit equals. Now it's not going to kill me to write that down, but I'm also suggesting that if you use Office Lens on your phone, then you might, this is Office Lens here, I'll give it a go, mind you, I'm only figuring out how to use it myself, but with Office Lens on my phone, if I take a picture of that now, now it says I've reached my limit, so I have to clear, and that becomes now another video altogether. So what'll I do? I'm going to leave it, okay, but we'll revisit Office Lens. It's an amazing thing, only I have to figure out how to use it. Now, so in this case, I'm going to write down my homework. I go for a double page spread maybe so I can give all the homework, and it's just a silly little copy, okay? Light as anything. Get smaller. The smaller the copies you can get, the better. Keep your school bag nice and light, okay? So we might write up here A was B, A was 4, B was -2, and C was 6, okay? And then A, B, C was equal to, and then there's the bait and switch. There's the switching of the case, the lower case and the upper case. Okay, so of course these are all uppercase to calculator, but it's a lowercase variables there. So a, little b, little c is equal to -48. Okay, and then hit clear. I will alpha A, and I'll be using the 2 hands, and hit square plus alpha B squared. As you can see, after a while this is going to become second nature. You're literally just, you don't have to do any maths, you have to just type it in and look, oh my god, I put in a B squared, I shouldn't have done so. So I'll del out of that, and I'll see if I can del out again to get rid of the power completely, or else I could have put a 1 there. And getting out of trouble is as important as getting things all right the first time round. I'll hit return, expecting an integer. If I was expecting a decimal, and I wanted to see a decimal and not a fraction, I might go shift equals. You learn about that as time goes by, that you'll always get it in decimal form directly if you do shift equals. Okay, 14 is the answer to that, so I'll just write down a squared plus b equals 14. And next I'm going to write down a squared plus 3b squared, on my own screen I am, minus c squared. Of course what I really want to be doing is, come on, I'll write them in. I'll write them straight in here. 6, -48, and we'll go with this one here. So as you see, I'm holding the calculator. Always take off the case, get rid of it, just leave it aside, because it's much handier to manage the calculator if it's out of its case. So alpha A squared, leave your thumb on the alpha, plus 3 alpha B. So my right hand thumb is doing almost all of the work. I'm hitting my cubed function, minus C alpha C, and that's going to be squared, negative 44. Okay, clear. AB plus BC, alpha A and times alpha B plus alpha B times alpha C equals negative 20. And for those who haven't finished their homework yet, I hope this will inspire you. I don't mind if you just copy it completely. You could say, well, I could have had this prepared beforehand. You have plenty of time to get your homework done still. Squared alpha B squared alpha C squared, 2304. Okay, and now clear. Alpha A squared alpha B minus alpha C cubed equals negative 248. Okay, we can certainly see things getting a little bit more complicated now. Now I don't have a P, or neither a Q nor an OR on my calculator, so we're going to have to decide to do a substitution. Okay, so let's substitute it as A, B and C. Okay, so A equals -1, B equals 2, C equals 5, and remind ourselves that A is a sub for B, is for P, B is a sub for Q, and C is a substitution for OR. Okay, so with this little key here, I'll be able to manage these without having to write everything out. Like, I won't have to write this out as being 3A plus 1. I can just figure it out on the fly. Okay, so I'm putting -1 shift store to A. See? That done right? Clear 2 shift store to B. I hate doing this though. I'll just tell you one thing, because what I'm doing, I'm reinforcing the old calculator, and I hope we'll all have the new calculator in the next few weeks. And then there'll be slightly different keystroke sequences, and then you'll have to relearn it. It is not progressive to say we'll just hang on to this calculator. Sooner or later it's going to run out of battery or break or something, and you'll have to get the new one anyway. Now C will be 5. Clear. What am I going to do? Put 5 in memory. Shift store 5. A little word of warning, of course. Remember when we were factorizing a number like 99, we could not shift factorize without putting it right into memory. But because the shift storing in ABC is a form of putting it into these memory banks, you don't have to hit equals. Okay? But don't get a false sense of security, because when we go back to factorizing numbers like that, we're going to have to hit the equals first. And if I had done there 5 equals and then done shift store to C, it would have been the same result. Okay, double check. -1, -2, and 5. Very quick to check them, and now I'm about to start keying all the different values in. Fraction bar 3 alpha A plus 1. Downstairs 4 times B minus C squared. 4 alpha B minus alpha C squared. You get the idea that every time you want the letter, you're going to say alpha times the letter. It equals 2/17. Okay, I'll put this answer this way. So we're going to go in with a first fraction bar. Or indeed, I'll go in with A first. Alpha A. Hit my fraction bar. Downstairs 5. Roll forward. Negative C. Alpha C. Fraction bar. 2. Forward. Negative B, because Q is B. B, alpha B. See, I even have to think myself, make sure I'm on the right track. Okay? And that comes out at negative 47 over 10. Okay? Now, a fifth of OR. Now, I'll write that in a slightly different way. I'll write that as OR over 5. I could say, you could see through that now and say, oh, well, that's 1. Okay, so see, I can see that's 5 over 5, and you say, yeah, why aren't you doing that for everything? Well, there is, because I want you to be ready for when things come complicated, and I want you to rest your head, not to be getting in a sweat over this in an exam when you can get in a sweat over the stuff you have to think about. Okay, so that's actually a 2 over 2, which is another 1. Okay, so I can see through that in this case and say, well, that's another 1. And now 2 of them, and indeed I can see through the whole lot, and you see there's the flexibility there. 2 of them is only 4, and that was quite easy. And they might all be easy deep down what's going on, I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like they are because of those fractions there. Equals 6. Okay, now this will be the square root of A plus B, which is quite simple. Square root of alpha A plus alpha B is 1. Again, of course, if we look into what happened there, what just happened there, well, obviously, it was 2 take away 1, which is 1, and then the square root of 1 is 1. And finally, and I might just put in the key in this case, that would be B squared plus C plus A all over 4 of those fellas, which is 4B. Okay. So, it's a square root with a fraction, it's a square root with a fraction bar. They're right next door to each other. Alpha B squared plus, no reason for that bracket at all. I can leave it out. Okay, that's where we know our BIMDAS. That'll just become plus C plus is plus A. No need for it. C plus A. So alpha C plus alpha A. Downstairs we go for alpha B, and that's your homework finished. And believe it or not, the answer is 1. Okay, so there's a video I'm going to post to you, and I'll also send those 2 pictures and I'll add them to the assignment. So for those who are struggling or just a little bit hesitant, no excuses. You get a new notification just in a moment's time with this, with a link to guide you through.